Hey, what is up, YouTube? We made some changes from the last video. Some of it, probably most of it actually was based on viewer feedback. So huge thanks to the guys who commented on my last video. They were pointing out some issues that were here without doing it in like a douchey way or any way that they just came across as super helpful, and that is sometimes hard to do in the YouTube comment section. Like, really easy to come across as you're just complaining or being a hater or whatever. But no, you guys were super cool about it. So I have done a few things to try and address the problems. I am going to work harder at being more energetic when I record. Um, I think I spent a lot of time just playing by myself and then like not I spent a lot of time working on talking into the microphone and not a lot of time talking and working on like inflection and the way I'm talking and stuff like that. So definitely going to put more effort into that as I keep going on. So it'll be a process. I'm not going to claim that I'm going to be really good at it right from the get-go, but it is something that I'm going to be more conscious of moving forward. So hopefully that will be improved as I continue to play. Some of the other things is the bit rate. I have over doubled that, so hopefully that will stop some of the quality issues that were occurring. Another thing I did was I had my recordings going to an external drive, which could potentially be slowing things down, maybe like making some of the quality drop. I don't really know. Wouldn't think so. But just in case, I've got those going to an NVMe drive instead of an external hard drive, just to completely eliminate that as a possibility. So let me know if the video looks at a quality where you would expect it to and doesn't look super blurry or anything like that. Because if it's not one of those things I've already fixed, then I'm gonna have to do some more research and figure out what else it might be. A editing software or some of my YouTube settings or something else. But I'm going to look more into that. But I think it should be fixed. I never really noticed a problem with quality, but maybe that was just because I was used to it. So hopefully better now. Other than that, we are going to be playing primarily PvP. I may dabble in PvE a little bit, but I would guess almost, if not everything that I post on this channel will be back on the main PvP side of Tarkov. So I'm super excited to be back. I gotta make sure I remember what my VoIP key is because gotta hit these guys with some VoIP. I am a few days behind on the start of the wipe. Unfortunately, I had some work. So I was at work for 2 days. My daughter had surgery yesterday. Nothing serious. She had her tonsils taken out. So I'm watching her a lot during the day. So I'm really not getting to play as much as I have in the past. Which priorities. I got to take care of her before doing this. Other than that, I think we are ready to get into some raids. We're ready for some high quality Tarkov gameplay. Then got bad news for you. You may have come to the wrong place. Of course, our first raid, it's going to be raining. Okay, let's see what kind of constants we can get to back on PvP Tarkov. Excited to be back on PvP. I fully expect there's going to be a learning curve adjustment. But I've been playing some arena. Probably not as much as I should. So I hope I'm not going to get bad. Mercom checkpoint's going to be our easiest bet. I think we're still on the lookout for our pretty standard loot. Fighting going on already. That's train station. I'm guessing I'm... No. Don't know what path to river is. Guess that must... Oh. I know they pretty much redid like the entire outside of interchange. And I want to say they redid the basement area as well. But obviously my first interchange raid on the new update, so it's just I'm just parroting all the little things that I've heard on YouTube. My plan is got a couple ideas for some upcoming streams. I want to do a bingo board. Never done one of those. It seems like it'd be fun. I think early in the wipe like this would be a good time to do it. I can do... I've got some ideas of what to put on it, but if you have any ideas of some things you might be fun to put on a bingo board, then leave those in the comments. I would love to add some viewer suggestions as well. Huge thank you to everybody who subscribed on the last video. It got a fair amount of dislikes, especially compared to the few number of likes it got, but I'm assuming that was because of the quality issues. Even with that, got quite a few subscribers, so huge thanks to you guys. Obviously that makes me a lot more motivated to do these videos, put in the work. That one that I released was probably, 7 or 8 hours of footage, and it took me at least 2-ish hours to edit. So I mean, it's not an insignificant amount of time went into that one. So to have it actually give a good return is really encouraging to me. So massive thank you, guys. Not just the guys that were trying to help me out with some information on how to improve stream quality. Although obviously that is extremely welcome. Right, extract camp to raid 1. Hey, well that was the most boring raid I've ever done. I'm really not a huge customs fan, to be honest. I just feel like I got some bad memories from doing old pocket watch. Let's see what was shooting at me. But I mean, that's a pretty unmistakable sound. Oh, balls. Can't jump that, can he? I ran out of ammo. Why didn't I reload while I was standing there? Thing sight this as. Okay, let's let the lucky streak on customs continue. Man, I do not love this map. The transit is a successful extract. What is this? Here, the big red building, right? Man, like PvP. The rush of finding somebody in that fight is something that PvE cannot contend with. Nice as some of those things on PvE are. For example, the non-existent load times in a raid, like getting a raid in less than a minute. Doesn't love that. Did bring the pistol just in case, so does that make me well prepared? Wishlist item? Nothing else. We got out with toothpaste. Successful PMC kill and toothpaste extraction on day one. Possibly the greatest player alive. You know, people have been saying it. Not gonna agree with them, but I'm not gonna disagree with them. Let's see, do I have any interesting stories from work that I can talk about? Let's see. First day, landed a helicopter. I mean, I wasn't driving the helicopter. You don't get the key? Did they change that quest? Yeah, I didn't, obviously, I don't pilot helicopters, but I was just involved in the helicopter landing process by setting up the landing zone, driving the ambulance to the helicopter. But yeah, that's the kind of the tricky thing with medical calls. I can't really talk about much. Good old HIPAA. Be in big trouble if I divulge many details. So I just kind of opt not to. Fire stuff I can talk about a lot more. So, fire related, we got a fire alarm at like midnight, 1 a.m., somewhere in that area. Um, Either way, I was tired. It was really late slash really early. Posters I can take. Know why I really like the I can't throw that in there. But anyway, what was I talking about? Fire alarm, 1 a.m. Right. So fire alarm was nothing. They had a faulty system. Not a big deal. Happens all the time. Tried to set them straight. Let the fire marshal know it was messing up just in case we kept getting out there. You know, pretty standard stuff. On the drive back, big column of smoke. That's a column that you can see. Perfect. That's a column that we could see at 1 a.m. Cool. Not ideal like being able to see that at that point in the day, pretty good sign that it's so we obviously, we're firefighters. We're like, probably investigate that. So we start heading over there. We end up in another fire department's territory, which isn't a huge deal. They border, I mean, they border us, so it's not like we're hunting in their territory big time. They, like we have the east side of the street, they have the west side of the street. That kind of, like, barely in their territory. We're able to trace it over there, and then we saw, like, we look into the woods behind this church, and the woods are just orange. We're like, cool, we've got legit fire. That coming from upstairs? Might be coming from upstairs. We've got a legit fire. Like, woods are on fire. I really thought that was coming from up here. Chapter started. What is that? That's... Sorry, guys. I am horrible at trying to tell stories while I'm doing this. So it turns out the woods behind this church building are on fire. Like, not a little fire. It's a couple acres worth of fire. Not insignificant amount. We not in a truck to be fighting wildfires. Like, all we have are some hand tools. Not optimal for this situation at all. But luckily, like I said, we're like bordering this other department. They have a truck within like a half mile of this place, maybe. I think half mile is probably too far. So we were able to call them, and they came out, brought their trucks. We were out there till like 4+ a.m. Didn't end up going to bed until like 5 a.m. It was a long night. If I seem a little bit out of it and tired, because I am. And more so than usual, I guess. No one extract camp. Right. That is a successful customs extract. Opposite side of the map. Check for a Bitcoin really quick, though. No Bitcoin.
Yeah, we'll do it.
Cool, now everybody knows where I am. Thought for sure those footsteps were a little more like over here, though. Not convinced it was that scab that I heard. Yep, on the gun that I'm really low on ammo on, we're gonna spray like that. About right. Lovely. Getting some of these early quest items knocked out. I love that. Luna, how's it going? How are you doing? They're going pretty good on my end. Tarkov 1.0, so you know it's fun. Yeah, pretty new. Um, been doing YouTube a little bit longer, but streaming that was a player. Much closer to Emercom this time. So I'm gonna run over here. See if anybody spawned near the garage. I think there's a spawn in that back corner. I want to say there's one like at the Emercom tent as well. Should be able to get this Emercom scouted at least. Not seeing any movement. Nice. That one I don't have to successfully extract, but obviously that's still going to be the goal. The way they pace these quests definitely makes it where hello? And the basic M4 kind of sucks. But they made it where there feels like a lot less of a rush to get a lot of these early quests done. So it's not nearly like the madhouse that it usually seems. Actually, I'm gonna need that base. Like there. Um, alternately, that could just be because I'm like 3 or 4 days late on the wipe. All of a sudden, there's a bunch of scavs everywhere. Movement, inside or outside? Decision I need to make here. You mean like outside? Quick red rebel off a spawn. Here we go. That scav was locked onto something over here earlier though, so I do need to watch out. Boom. There's a PMC over here. A scav? What is up? It's going raid after raid after raid and not seeing anybody. Then a scope glint. Then I do one ground zero raid and all of a sudden there's a ton of scavs. Ooh. Where are they coming from? Really? That's how this is gonna be, is it? Get out of here. Do I push this guy? This is what it's about. What is this? Definitely want the death shadow. Come on, dude. Am I stupid? Should have pushed upstairs. Oh, I played that really bad. I have to go to bed, so I have to leave feeling like that. Man, those guys were not very good. They already? They spawned so close to me. Oh, because I'm right by offices. That's why all the action's gonna be right here. Ooh. This is factory, alright. I kill him? I don't think so. Definitely did not. Definitely hurt him though. Really? And now a scav? Ah! I probably should not have swung that. Why is there always two of them? Never just one guy. Alright, just one extract. That is all I need. Everyone spawns so close in this map. Wait. So close already. Woo. There's another one here. Everyone showing up to factory naked or what? Oh, I killed him. Okay, I did not realize he died. I don't suppose I can go out gate 1, can I?
Эй, земляк, мы стрелять не хотим, мы так наблюдаем.
Ran out of ammo. I had some gear. I guess he was doing that quest. I need to be going the other way. Or is this the one I need a key for? Okay, nice. Nice. I mean, more than enough XP to not be a run through. Okay, plane crash. Wow. Pretty sure that's like right over here. I think this is it here, right? This might have been a big money spawn. Did forget about food and water again. At this point, it's just standard for me. Okay, so that's it. That's all I have to do for that. And now, extract. Outskirts. Outskirts is probably going to be the easiest. I just do have to go through some pretty high traffic areas to get there. But surely that's going to be fine, right? I just survived factory. What can woods possibly do to me? Maybe they'll let me just run by? Alright, well that's one of my kills on woods done. Gives me a little bit of a closer range weapon. And as long as I don't get shot in the back, not going to feel too bad about that. Looting him was probably one of the dumbest things I could have done, but I got away with it. Sometimes your lesson in Escape from Tarkov is just be a little bold and a little bit stupid. Now that we're in some cover, I have a sniper. Using this CMS would probably be in my best interest. It would dramatically affect my aim. Okay, so if we're lucky, we'll get a couple scavs right by Scav House. Up here. And that'll let us get our kills before we extract on outskirts. If we're lucky. Fingers are crossed, but I'm not crossing them too far. Oh, something's here. A player? Okay, this is exactly what I got. Ooh, 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 ooh. Might be a player. It was. Poor pickle. Oh no, there's his buddy. Hang on, man, we can talk about this. Doesn't have to end this way. I think we're a little past negotiating. I could run. But this also would be my third kill. Oh. Kind of rude of him to not even voip me back. Hey, it's been 15 minutes of sitting in raid, waiting for, or sitting in queue, waiting for this raid. Please, 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 please don't die in the first 5 seconds of this raid. Here's the plan. Kill Scav, or a player, in Scav Town, right here. Take the car and get out. Turn the quest in. And beyond that, the world is my oyster. Question is, are we going to find any scavs? That answered that. Yes, we are going to find some scavs in here. We'll let him come to me. I'm gonna bait him in. Ooh, I need those. Alright, toolbox, give me one more nuts. Nut. No nut. Other side of this fence sounds like. Ooh, there's a couple of them. What and all? Yeah, that should be fine. Well, we have the kills that we need. Anything else going on over here exciting? Is this bug? Can't just be me. Look, look. Hands off. Hands off. Can't just be me, right? Tarkov 1.0, everybody. 1.0 ready. Yep, this is how we're getting around the map now. And it's gone. I have complete control over my character yet again. Hey, take this backpack. Need some of these eventually. Got the nuts, got the kills. Let's try to get out of here.